We're all female engineers, and we're all working for Maytech, which is a public sector focused consultancy, and we're all working on DVLA projects. So my name's Chasey Davis Wrigley, and I'm a lead engineer at Maytech, and I'm currently working on the MIBI project to do a new platform for Data Lake. And I'll pass over to Ola.
Hi, I'm Ola Barejko. I'm a software engineer too, and I'm working with Chasey on the DVLA Data Lake project. And I'm going to pass to Claire.
Hi, I'm Claire Guest. I'm a software engineer at Maytech, and I'm currently working on the Driver's First Provisional License project. And I'll pass to Emma.
Hello, yeah, I'm Emma Blott. I'm also a software engineer at Maytech, and I'm also working on the Driver's First Provisional project with Claire.
Okay, so it might be useful for people who aren't currently working in IT to have a bit of an understanding about what our daily routine looks like and what's involved in our roles. So I guess if we were to talk about what our usual day looks like, how would that start off? Or shall I go to Emma? Go around?
Yeah, I would say it varies depending on what the day is, right? Like if it's a ceremony day, then it's a day with lots of meetings. So that's when we're all discussing what we've kind of achieved. I really like that about our kind of jobs, that we had kind of review what we've achieved every 2 weeks or whatever, and we'll talk about it. And then a normal day, which is lots of coding with a few meetings. I don't know. What do you think, Claire?
Yeah, so a normal day when it's not ceremony day is generally picking up a ticket off the backlog and working to get it all finished and ready to go. A lot of the time, like most of the time, we work in pairs, so pair programming, where rather than just coding on our own, which could get very lonely, we'll work with another developer and have a driver navigator relationship where someone types and someone kind of has a higher view of what direction you're heading in, and then you'll swap over very regularly. And I find that super helpful, especially working remotely.
I've been working with Ola recently, preparing just this morning actually. So so how have you found it so far, Ola?
Yeah, it's been really good. We did loads of experiments, lots of looking for the information. We tried some different bits, and finally we managed to get the solution, which was great. Really enjoyed that. Also, I would mention that usually a typical day starts with stand-up when we go around the table and everybody says like what they've been working on yesterday, what they're planning to do today, and if they have any blockers.
Yeah, I think part of the reason that I really like working in IT is it's actually quite people focused. I don't know if that's mostly because of we work in a consultancy, so we go in teams, but we're very focused on sharing our knowledge. So Maytech, we really focus on pair programming and mobbing to ensure that when we leave client organization, that the knowledge is shared in that organization, and we're not leaving any gaps behind. And that's something that I really enjoy about our role.
I think it also makes it like more fun to work with someone else, like because if you're just at home alone programming and then you solve a problem that you've been trying to fix for like 2 days, you're like, yay,
yeah,
you're just alone. So it's really nice to work with other people and be like, yay, that thing that we were working on fixed it. That's a really share the dopamine.
Actually, joining our both knowledges, it's pretty good. It helps us solving problems easier and faster.
Yeah.
Equally, when you come across something that is frustrating, which we've been recently, it kind of lifts your spirit a bit when you can talk to somebody else and say, why isn't this working? I don't know why this isn't working. And that's pretty good. Okay, so how did you guys start off? How did you get into tech then? So
Who wants to start?
I can start. So I've been always interested in solving the problems. I loved puzzles and all logical stuff, but I always felt like maybe it's not for me, maybe it's like more male dominated, and I went to civil engineering path. I still wanted to have this like math and physics and all these bits. So then after my university, I knew it's not something I want to do, and I was still like thinking in my head somewhere, like I've always wanted to learn how all the programs works, like how is it all built, can I like learn a little bit? And then I decided to take the Java course. It was like based back in Poland, but I know in UK you have similar courses as well. And yeah, I learned. Then I spent some time at home, made my first project, applied for the job, and I got it. It was really good.
cool. What about you guys? How did you guys get into it?
So me and Emma have the similarity of both coming through the Maytech Academy, but it's slightly different background. So I also did engineering at uni, chemical engineering, and I never really thought of doing like software development or anything like that because it wasn't something that was really on my radar. I went to a girls' school that was a science school, so it was very science focused. So I knew I wanted to do science, but it was kind of the more biology, chemistry, physics was the real focus rather than things like IT. So yeah, I did chemical engineering and then did a consultancy job in chemical engineering after uni. Started off doing kind of stuff related to chemical engineering and gradually drifted further and further away from that into more coding and data analysis work. Realized I really enjoyed it. Like it was the best bit of my job. It was the bit that I was looking forward to. So I was like, maybe I should be trying to do this as my whole job. So I was looking through job adverts and all things like that and came across the Maytech Academy, which is a 3-month program where effectively you get trained up in how to build good software, and it looked like an amazing opportunity. I couldn't quite believe it. I was like, yeah, I'm going to apply for that, and then I got in, and it was the best decision I've ever made.
Yeah, I can second that. It was a pretty good, yeah. Can you hear me? Yeah, you
Yes.
can't tell if it's my mic's broken. Yeah, it was definitely, yeah, the Maytech Academy was kind of perfect for, I don't know, for me definitely. With my like background, I'd done some coding at home, but always just myself. So the sort of focus on how to build software rather than how to write code, like, or how to just program was really helpful. But yeah, it was dreamy. I also didn't do computer science at uni. I did physics, so still sciencey, but not computer science. I wish I'd done computer science, but yeah, but it's all right. To be fair, I don't think it's hindered any of us not having computer science. So, but yeah, I was basically similar to Claire. I managed to stumble upon doing some coding in my day job and basically fell down the rabbit hole and would take up any opportunity to do so. But yeah, just it's there's so much out there on the internet for you to learn. There's so many resources now. I think it's surprising, yeah, how much help there is basically. So yeah, it's great.
So I did do computer science in university, but I didn't do it straight off. I did an international politics degree first, and when in my final year I was looking to do something for a job and I couldn't decide what to do, and because of international politics it isn't like an actual, well, you could go into like MI5 or journalism or something like that, but yeah, I didn't really want to do anything like that. So I bumped into somebody who should have finished. He was back in university and I was like, hey, didn't you finish last year? And he said, oh, I'm doing this master's conversion course to computer science. So I was like, well, what's that? And yeah, he said, well, just come along and find out a bit more about it. And when I looked into it, then I thought, oh, that's really good. and I saw that the job security was really high in that sector, because this is going back like a long time, many years, like over 20 odd years ago. So I finished that degree and went straight onto the master's conversion course, which was intensive. It was 60 hours a week and for 18 months with no holidays at all. And yeah, and I have to say that's the hardest I've ever worked. It was so difficult, that course. So yeah, but it was good and I loved it. And I came straight out from doing that, and I joined a consultancy based in London, and I just loved it because it was constantly going in to do different technologies and different customers, and just finding out about how different systems worked, like mortgage systems. And yeah, it's just really interesting to have things that you have in your everyday, that you come across every day, learning about actually what goes on behind the scenes in all those different things that touch your lives. I found that really interesting. So yeah, that's how. So I've only ever worked in IT the whole time, and I did do a stint where I was integrating some college systems for a while when I moved back to Wales, and then I did a PGC while I was integrating the systems, with the idea that I might go into teaching IT, but I stayed actually coding. So yeah, it was good. Enjoy it. So what do you think are the highlights for you then in your career so far? What would you say?
I can talk. So my last project that I was on, so it was my first project as a software developer. It was quite a small project, but working for the NHS. So it was a really kind of valuable project. And it was a good first project because we started from nothing. So we built it from the ground up, and it was really good to sort of see it become what the final product, you know, like we literally started with a blank code base and built it up, and seeing the effect. So we had a lot of like user testing. So we worked with some user experience designers, and they were taking our sort of prototypes. Claire actually worked with me on the prototype. We were working together there. So we were building these prototypes, which were then going out to be tested by real users, who would then give us feedback, and we would make changes. And I really enjoyed how close we were to the sort of final product and the users. So yeah, when that was, I don't think it's actually fully out yet, but the project is finished. It will be fully out soon. And it was a pretty amazing project to be involved in. So it was good.
Would you recommend a career in IT?
Well, definitely.
100%.
I think it was the best decision in my whole life to actually deciding to switch.
Yeah.
You get to learn every single day. You're never bored really with this job, I think.
No. And even if you are, there's always something new to learn, right? Like if you feel bored, it's very quick to swap to do something different, you know, like there's no. Yeah.
It's impossible to know everything. So there's always something. Yeah.
Yeah. It's never going to get stagnant. Like you're always going to be able to chop and change if you want to. Because also there's so many opportunities in IT, you know, if you do want to change, people want to make sure that you're enjoying your day job, basically.
And the culture in IT companies, I find it like really friendly, amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of focus on well-being. I don't know if it's for all companies, but definitely Maytech, and from what I've seen, sort of from my friends who are also developers, I assume because people think that we just sit behind computers and write all day, that we need loads of extra well-being, whereas it's actually like, no, we really enjoy our jobs and we get all the extra well-being. So
yeah.
Fine.
Yeah, I think it was quite scary being a career changer, like to let go of something I'd done a degree in and change into something else. But like, so it was a year ago, pretty much since I finished the academy, since I started the academy even, and I can't believe like how far I've come in a year, and also how much I'm enjoying the job, like doing a job that is exciting, that I'm excited to do, and being like, yeah, I can see myself doing this for the rest of my working career. I think that's really important, and I'm glad I found something that I feel that way about.
Yeah, definitely. So how would you start off? What advice would you give to somebody who was looking to start off a career in IT?
There's loads of online materials you can go to, like Udemy or other websites. Like there are loads of courses. Just learn, start with something simple, build your own like simple project. Just get into it, get to know like what does it really mean to actually code, I think.
I think if you want to get into it, it can really help as well to talk to other people who do it, either as a hobby or as a career. So I've part of the reason I got into it is because I've got a friend who did a similar thing to me and moved careers, and I was talking to her about it and she absolutely loves it. And I was like, yeah, that sounds good, I want to do that.
I think it's also really good if you are learning to find someone else who is learning the same as, or who's also learning, and kind of work on stuff together. Like we were already discussing pair programming and how helpful that is. And I think especially if you're starting out, it's really easy to be so daunted by everything, and by having another person there who's either more experienced than you or even the same level of experience but wants to learn, it's the same thing. You can sort of like support each other through. And there are loads of like meetups and things like that, which is specifically sort of suited to finding other people who are learning. So
yeah. You can ask for a mentor even. You can find a mentor, and that will be extremely helpful to have somebody that will guide you through this like learning curve.
Yeah, there's quite a lot of resources out there now, isn't there? There's a good group on LinkedIn called Women Who Code, and they have the mentor. You can either do a mentoring, or you can be a mentoree. So yeah, there's LinkedIn has quite a few different resources, but like you said as well, there's Udemy, which is a really good source of multiple courses. You can just get a subscription to Udemy, and then you've got access to all the courses, and Pluralsight as well. That's another really good one.
Something I did that was really helpful, I did a Code Fast Girls course, which if you're a university student, or if you're within a year of graduating, something like that, you can do for free. So yeah, that was really helpful. I'd recommend having a look at Code Fast Girls.
Yeah, there's also Code Academy, which I feel like everyone knows, but it's quite good if you're completely new, because it will step you through like literally from the very beginning with no coding knowledge expected. So that's good.
Yeah, and Microsoft as well, that has quite a lot of free documentation and courses on there that actually does take you from the start, explaining what a variable is and which are the building blocks for software engineering. So it assumes no knowledge at all. So that's pretty good. The Microsoft Docs. So
YouTube also have people create whole courses. You can find a big collection of step by step creating the whole program, which is good.
Yeah. I think it's also really good to kind of pick something that you want to make. Like just decide, like the thing that I used to do was, I mean, it's not very interesting at all, but my old job, there was a lot of like dealing with text files, like moving, I don't know, and I was just like, I don't want to do this because it's boring, so I'm going to learn how to write code to do this. And that was like a good motivator, because when I wrote the code, I didn't have to do it anymore. It wasn't particularly complicated, but by like picking a small task and being like, I want to do this, that was really good. And there are loads of guides out there if you want to build like a phone app, things like that. Like you can start from nothing and build something simple, but it's nice to have a product or a thing that you've made, I think.
Yeah, something that could be useful for your everyday. Yeah, that's a really good idea. Yeah. Okay. So do you think that it's difficult for people who aren't from a science or technical background already to make the move, a career move, into tech? Would you say that was difficult, or would you say?
I don't think so. I think like people think that computer programming is like crazy maths and things like this, but like realistically, it's just logic and it's just breaking things down into smaller tasks. So you don't need to have like done calculus or horrendous maths. Like it's just like thinking about things in smaller and smaller pieces until those pieces make sense enough that you can tell a computer to do them, right? Because everything we do is just a series of motions or things that we break down automatically. And also, I think it's super valuable to not come from a scientific background and go into coding, because if you come from sort of science, you are maybe taught to think in a specific way, and we get whole new opinions, whole new mindsets by getting somebody who's come from a different background, which is incredibly valuable, right? It's only going to make the code better. Either it will make it easier to read, which is a huge plus and saves everybody time, or it will make it sort of a different logical, different logical steps that maybe we wouldn't think of if we came from a scientific background.
Yeah, that's a really good point, actually.
Yeah.
And it's been found, hasn't it, that on projects in general, the more diversity in the team, the better the quality at the end is. So yeah, and especially so on public sector projects and DVLA, because we're doing systems that are for the general public. So the more our development team mirrors the general population, then that's going to be a better system, isn't it, at the end? I think, yeah, it's a really good point.
There's also like so much to tech. Like you can do your really mathsy, really, that does exist, but you can also go completely the opposite, which is kind of more front-end development. So that's building websites, things like that, which there's a lot of kind of artistic license and that whole element there, and there's loads of work in that as well, right? Like we all need that, and you'll get developers who don't like to do that and ones who love to do it, and that's totally fine. Like you can pick your area and focus on that, and yeah, there's a lot in that.
I don't know if concerned is the right word, say concerned, that not having a degree in computer science was going to hold me back and that I'd struggle, but I don't think that's the case at all. There's so many people who haven't done computer science, and I think as a career, there's a lot of different backgrounds. Like you don't necessarily have to have done computer science or a scientific degree or any degree. Like there's people from all different backgrounds doing tech, so I think it's more open than a lot of other career paths are.
Yeah,
Definitely.
and I definitely don't think there's a stigma with not having a degree even in tech that you might have in some other industries.
I was talking about this with someone the other day, and I was saying like the crazy thing about tech is that it's growing so quickly. Like the technology is changing so quickly that even if you are working with someone who's been in like the industry for like 20 years, if you've learned a new piece of tech, you probably know more about it than they do, and that's fine. Like nobody, that's to be expected, because if you've learned something new, then that's going to be the thing that you know about. And so there's it's fine. Like
yeah. Oh, that's great. Well, thank you everyone for your time. So to summarize then, we've emphasized that there's plenty of different ways to get into technology. There's lots of opportunities to learn, and different formats to learn. So you can have meetups, you can go down a mentor program, you can do it through books. If you're a person that prefers actual hard copy books, you can get plenty of like O'Reilly programming books, and even the dummies. They're really good. I've got plenty of the books for dummies. They're really easy format to follow. And then there's the online courses like Udemy and Pluralsight, and then you've got LinkedIn groups, and so yeah, it's great. So, what we could do is we could put something together at the end of this with a list of the resources that might be useful for anyone who's looking to move into technology. And yeah, thanks guys. Bye.